Hello everybody, Jake here and welcome to the hobby. In today's video, I'm going to be predicting what actually pops off in 2026. As you guys probably know, I think a lot of Pokemon card investing content recently is really boring. It's like the same 5 cards being talked about again and again. So I wanted to share with you guys what are some cards that I think might actually pop off in 2026, cards and sealed products, and hopefully you haven't heard these takes before. The goal of today's video is to be spicy, it's to be different, and give you a point of view that you haven't heard before. And it's not about being right, but at least gives you some more information on what is available out there, right? So we're going to start off with some of my hot takes on what I think could really pop off in 2026, and I truly believe this. So these are cards and items that might have a lot of underrated potential. So first off, you're thinking Pheasantipity, who cares about that? Well, a lot of Pokemon card artists really popped off last year, like Komiya cards or Shinji Kanda cards. And one of my favorite artists is Naoki Saito, and their cards are fantastic as well. But I think there's an underrated artist in the Pokemon card community that people haven't really figured out yet. And that is C.A. Nanahara. Nanahara cards are fantastic. Their cards have consistently been amazing, and I've been a huge fan of Nanahara cards, and I think it's because they don't draw a lot of cards. Like, this is a brand new Pheasantipity inside of the Mega Dream set. It'll come out probably in Ascended Heroes, so this is an upcoming card. Gorgeous looking art piece, but let me show you some of their other cards. We have the Hisuian Zoroark V-Star from Crown Zenith. This is one of my top 5 favorite Pokemon cards of all time. Not favorite cards from Crown Zenith, favorite cards of all time. I think this art piece is fantastic. I love the Hisuian Zoroark V-Star. I think it looks gorgeous. Their artworks are always fantastic, and I think Nanahara just doesn't draw as many cards as people think, so they haven't drawn that many cards, but every time they do a secret rare or an illustration rare, it's always fantastic, and I think there's a good chance that if they draw just a couple more cards, that there's going to be a lot more Nanahara fans in 2026, and some of their cards could seriously pop off like some other artists in the community has. Another one of their big cards, the Ninetales from Obsidian Flames. This card is fantastic. So I'm just showcasing you some cards, and yeah, Nanahara cards, really underrated, and I think they have a lot of potential. So that's the first one. The next one that I think has a lot of potential, this one's a sealed product, and it is Battle Styles. Who expected that one? But here's the thing. The diamond in the rough, or the products and the cards that you least expect to go up, can sometimes be the most surprising. I think Battle Styles booster boxes are really underrated right now. Certainly it's not the best set from the Sword and Shield era, but it's older than Evolving Skies. Evolving Skies booster boxes are $2,500, and obviously Evolving Skies is S tier. You can't compare Battle Styles to Evolving Skies, but would I rather have 2 cases of Battle Styles over 1 Evolving Skies booster box? I probably would rather have 2 cases of Battle Styles. So that's the comparison. Dollar for dollar, I think Evolving Skies is a little bit overpriced right now, and dollar for dollar, I think Battle Styles is a little bit cheap right now. I mean, Battle Styles is cheaper than Mega Evolution and Phantasmal Flames, and I would rather buy this set because Battle Styles is 4 to 5 years old. Again, same kind of comparison, and this one's a little bit more comparable. Would you rather have 1 Battle Styles booster box or 3 Lost Origin booster box? Lost Origin is newer than Battle Styles, by the way. I think I'd rather have 3 Battle Styles booster box than 1 Lost Origin, but this one's a little bit more close in comparison. I think the Evolving Skies one really takes the cake because I would absolutely prefer having 12 to 13 Battle Styles booster boxes than 1 Evolving Skies booster box. And Battle Styles is not a bad set. So here are some of the cards inside of it. Tyranitar V, fantastic, probably one of the best art pieces in all of the Sword and Shield era. And I don't think the Urshifus are that bad either. Empoleon V is fantastic. We got the Mimikyu V full art, Houndoom, Gold Rare, Victini V Max. There's a bunch of decent cards inside of it. It's got solid full art trainer cards too. So Battle Styles is not that bad of a set. And I think for $240, it's a little bit too cheap. That's really what if you were to do an investing content, that's what I like to see is, hey, tell me what are cheap right now? What is underrated? Don't tell me what's popped off. Tell me what might pop off. I think that's way more interesting to talk about, right? So Battle Styles is an item that I think is underrated. Surprising, because Battle Styles is not a great set, but at $240 compared to everything else, I would say it's underpriced for what it's at. Same scenario, Celebrations Elite Trainer boxes. Currently, a Paldean Fates Elite Trainer box is more expensive than a Celebrations Elite Trainer box. Guys, you know Paldean Fates came out in 2024. It's 2026. Paldean Fates is 2 years old, and the Elite Trainer boxes are more expensive than a Celebrations ETB. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Celebrations is way older. In terms of prestige, I would still say Celebration is more prestigious than Paldean Fates. That's debatable. If you love Paldean Fates, fantastic for you. If you keep everything comparable, even if they both have the same level of popularity, same level of prestige, Celebrations is still way older and way more rare. And I would rather pick up a Celebrations ETB and a Paldean Fate rather than a Paldean Fates ETB if they're the exact same price. But they're not. A Paldean Fates ETB is actually more expensive than a Celebrations ETB. So I'll just pick up the Celebrations ETB. These are still going to be available for a while, but I think within the next 6 months, a lot of these are going to get scooped up. But these are my hot takes. You got to have some spicy takes. I think Celebration is going to pop off pretty hard in the next 6 to 9 months once all of the sealed products dry out. If you go to a card show, you might find like 4 or 5 of these ETBs floating around. But once those get picked up, and it's not that hard to pick it up. It's like $1,000 to pick up every single one of these ETBs from a showroom floor. These are going to disappear pretty quickly. Next up, and I think this one's pretty spicy of a take too. I think the Rainbow Rare GXs are actually really underrated now. So for instance, this Lugia GX is inside of Lost Thunder. A Lost Thunder booster box is currently going for like $1,500, and this is the top chase card inside of it. And this Lugia is still really prestigious. It is the secret rare, Rainbow Rare Lugia from a very expensive and old Sun and Moon set. Yet you can pick up this Lugia for a very affordable price. And guys, the PSA population reports on these cards are so small. There's a couple of 100 copies of this Lugia GX available. I think if you go on eBay, you might find like 2 or 3 listings of this card. You can find like Umbreon VMAX everywhere. They're everywhere. Comparatively, these cards are way older, way more rare. And there's a ton of Lugia fans out there, and all of these cards have a couple of 100 pops. None of them have over 1,000 pops. I don't think even the Charizard GX from Burning Shadows, which is the most expensive Rainbow Rare card, is over 1,000 pop. And all of these have way less pops. Again, another one, the Rayquaza GX from Celestial Storm. Celestial Storm is like a $2,000 booster box right now. And this Rayquaza GX is surprisingly affordable, like incredibly cheap compared to how expensive the set is, how prestigious this card is, how hard it is to pull. If you rip open a dozen, 2 dozen, 24 booster boxes of Celestial Storm, you might find one of this Rayquaza GX. And it's like a $200 card. So it's very affordable compared to how hard it is to find this card. And again, in a PSA 10, incredibly rare. Incredibly rare. How much is it in a PSA 10? Oh, let's look at that. $700 in a PSA 10. That's incredibly cheap for what it is. If an Umbreon VMAX is $3,000 and this card has a fraction of the population and it's significantly more rare and it's still a really prestigious card, right? I'm not picking like a Gumshoes GX. This is Lugia and Rayquaza we're talking about. These are cool cards. So I think that there's a good chance these might pop off. Like I said, hot takes are meant to be disagreed on. But we have some more interesting one. I think the Generations collection is extremely underrated. Generations booster packs are insanely expensive. The cards are actually really hard to find. But the cards inside of the set are all incredibly cheap. It's actually ridiculous how cheap some of these cards are. This Mega Gardevoir EX, I don't have it inside of my collection, by the way, but this card is incredibly underrated. Right now in a PSA 10, this card is going for $1,600. If I have this card and I try to vend it, I would personally list this card at $3,000 minimum, because I know how incredibly hard it is to find a PSA 10 of this. If that is the current market price, I would not consider listing it, you know? I wouldn't even try selling this. And I'll tell you, I went on eBay and I saw there were multiple people who sold this Gardevoir back in December for right around $1,250. Why did you sell this Gardevoir for $1,250? It was literally going for $4,000 in August. And I think 4,000 is actually where it should be because of how incredibly prestigious this card is, how incredibly rare it is to get, especially in the PSA 10. The PSA 10 population report on this card, I think, is like 200 or 300. Like, it's very, very low. None of these cards have high population. It might actually be like 127 or something. Most of these cards have insanely low population report. And I'm just shocked that someone sold it in December for $1,200. They must have really, really needed the money. Because if this was my card in a PSA 10, I would list it for $3,000 minimum because that's where I value it. If the market disagrees with me, then I simply won't sell it, and that's okay. I'll just wait for it to reach the price that I think it should target. So yeah, I don't have this one inside of my collection, but if I were to find some at a convention, I would absolutely scoop them up because if I can show like, hey man, the last couple sold for $1,200, do you mind selling it to me for $1,200? I think that's a fantastic deal. I would love to pick up this card right now for $1,200 because I do think Generations and cards like this will pop off again. Oh yeah, I would pick up every copy of this at $1,200 because I just know it will for sure go back up to $4,000. And I don't think that's even that hot of a take. All right, you guys ready for one more hot take? I got one more for you. Crimson Invasion booster box. I did the math on it, and I really do think, surprisingly, Crimson Invasion is actually really underrated right now. If you look at the prices on all of the Sun and Moon era booster boxes, they're all going for thousands and thousands of dollars. Like, even the worst Sun and Moon era sets are going for like $1,500 or something like that. And Crimson Invasion is going for $500. So it's one of those cases, again, where, you know, a team-up booster box is $10,000. Would I rather have 20 Crimson Invasion booster box or one team up booster box? Or I guess like maybe like 18 Crimson Invasion booster box or one team up booster box. It's very comparable, but I would say 18 Crimson Invasion booster box might still be better than one team up booster box because dollar for dollar, you're spending the same amount of money, right? You're either spending like 10 grand on one team up booster box or you're spending 10 grand on 18 Crimson Invasion booster box. From a pure investing standpoint, I think Crimson Invasion is actually underrated at this price. Every other booster boxes from this era, like Lost Thunder, Celestial Storm, all of those boxes are going for like $1,500, $2,000, and obviously Cosmic Eclipse, Team Up, and Unbroken Bonds, all of those, the Team Up sets are way more expensive than that. Crimson Invasion is a bad set. It is bad, but it's not that bad that it should be that much cheaper than all other sets. So comparatively, I can't believe I'm saying this, Crimson Invasion is actually underrated. So I wanted to share with you guys some of my hot takes on what I think could pop off in 2026. I would love to know how right or wrong I am. These are spicy. They're meant to be spicy, like they might not pop off. For instance, Nanahara cards might not be popular in 2026. It might take them a couple more years to pop off, but I do think eventually Nanahara art pieces will be appreciated because these are just fantastic. I think it's undeniable that these cards are gorgeous. And it just takes the hobby a little bit of time to maybe recognize that in the greater ethos. Again, with Battle Styles booster boxes are the same price as Mega Evolution. I would pick up Battle Styles over Mega Evolution or Phantasmal Flames as a long-term investment any day of the week because these are older, way more rare. They're just going to appreciate at a faster pace, especially when you compare something like Destined Rivals. Would I rather pick up a Destined Rivals booster box for $400 or $500, or would I rather pick up Battle Styles for $240? I would pick up Battle Styles any day of the week. It's not even close. But these have been my investing hot takes. It's not so much about being right or wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. It's not that big of a deal. If I'm right, I'm certainly not a genius. Some of this is meant to be hot takes but it's meant to be defendable, right? You guys can at least see my point of view about why I think some of these cards or products are underrated. So let me know what your collecting hot takes are right now, because I'm sure some of you guys have some really spicy thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys like this kind of video, I might do some more in the future if I can think of some more creative items that are underrated right now. Thank you guys. See you around. Let me know what your thoughts are. Peace out.